Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about performance testing basics. The agenda for the today's session will be first we will know who am I or about the speaker. Then we will have a quick intro to performance engineering. We understand the performance benchmarking, bottleneck identification, etc. A quick overview. Then we will talk about what is performance testing and the different types of performance tests. Let's start. First, about the speaker. I am Jitin Chadha. I am founding director at Perfeasy Enterprises Private Limited. We have built an AI-based patent pending performance testing framework which can automate all your scripting activities, all your load test execution activities, scenario designing, reporting, etc. So it saves times and effort for the test engineer. So you can just get your scripts created within minutes. I have around 14 years of experience in performance and security testing, and I have built and managed COEs for performance and security testing. I have worked as technical manager and performance analyst in projects across different technologies like investment banking, insurance, e-commerce, m-commerce, media, content publishing, etc. I have executed and managed more than 140 projects for performance and security testing, and a few in functional testing as well. I have worked with multiple clients across the globe. Some of them are Adobe, BNP Paribas, Boston Consulting Group, Cemex in Mexico, Aon, Max Life Insurance, Yepme, Snapdeal, Deals and You, and some more. I have following certifications: HP LoadRunner AIS, IBM Certified Solution Designer for Rational Performance Tester, IBM Certified Specialist for Rational App Scan Standard Edition, IBM Certified Specialist for Rational Robo as well. Let's move on to our today's topic. We'll start with a quick introduction to performance engineering. So performance engineering, the first step for a performance engineering project is performance testing. Here we use tools like JMeter, LoadRunner, NeoLoad, Gatling, any tool whichever is available or within budget or is compatible with the application. We use them to generate load and identify the response time trends, the failure trends, the pass fail, the transactions, the throughputs, etc., and come up with a performance benchmark. When I say performance benchmark, it is saying that what is the current state of my application, how much load my application can take, or how much volume my application can sustain. Once we know what is the current state of the performance, the next step is to improve the performance. And how we can improve? We need to monitor the application performance, application, server, technology, database. The performance degradation can happen because of any of the component on or all of the components, or can be due to the integration between different components or the application modules. So we need to monitor the servers, for example, IAS server, Tomcat server, IBM WebSphere servers, and all. From technology perspective, it can be a .NET based application. Nowadays, Node.js and these kind of JS technologies are getting uh, popular. So, or there can be a Java based application. So, based on the technology, we need to monitor, or a database. Example of database can be an Oracle database, a MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, and so many. So when we identify the performance bottlenecks, or we do a root cause analysis, we pinpoint a performance bottleneck. This is done in performance monitoring. When I say performance bottleneck, an example of a bottleneck can be we identify a query which takes a lot of time, due to which my login is getting slow, or a particular query is an insert query is causing a deadlock. So we identify that, so we pinpoint the performance bottleneck. It can be a code method. A Java based application lot of times have memory leaks. So we have to pinpoint the particular method, particular class of the code which is causing that memory leak, or the object which is causing the memory leak. So we need to pinpoint that. Or it can be a configuration part where we identify that the memory configuration on the server side is not sufficient. So we do the configuration settings, that would come on the tuning part. So we need to identify that this setting is a problem, this query is a problem, or a particular code is a problem. Third part is performance tuning. Once we identify that this query, this code, or a particular setting is done, is the problem, we need to fix that issue. So there can be the server settings can be tuned, the database or the code or load balancer or whatever is the problem has to be tuned. So this is called as performance tuning. When we combine all these three things, we generate the load is performance testing, then we monitor the application or the server or the database or the load balancer or other architectural components. There can be some middleware or network, etc. So we monitor and identify the performance bottlenecks, and then we go for performance tuning. So this combined all these three is called as performance engineering, and there can be multiple teams that are to be involved to complete this performance engineering activity. Let's talk about what is performance testing. Performance testing revolves around 3S: speed, stability, and scalability. Speed. Speed is simple. Just we all have known the speed is an English term where which is used to uh, denote how fast something is moving. So from application or a performance testing perspective, it is how fast my application performs. For identifying or testing the speed of the application, we perform load test, volume test, and spike tests. Next is stability, S. An application is said to be stable if my application performance is not degrading with respect to time. And in case of exceptional situations or very unique situations, application breaks down. Even if it breaks down, the data should not be lost, or my server should not crash, or my DB should stay intact. So those kind of issues should not occur, and without making any code changes or a database backup or something, my application should recover to its original state. This is expected from an application. If it is not able to recover to its original state, then we can say that there are some stability issues. And if application performance degrades with time, for example, I went live today, and after 3 days, 4 days, the application starts getting slow. So that means my applications had some stability issues. To identify the stability issues or to perform stability test, we perform soak test, or it is also called as endurance test. And another test that we perform is stress test to identify the stability of the application. Third S is scalability. Scalability is termed as load handling capacity. So one is what is the current state, and then what is my capacity of the servers or the application or the database for the expected load that we foresee for the future time. For example, an e-commerce application is expected to grow. They expand their market, they expand their delivery centers, so the load also increases on the application. So currently, for example, the application is expected to sustain a load of 500 users at the same time. But in 6 months, 7 months, 1 year, 2 year, the application is expected to handle 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 users. So will my application be able to scale up to those levels or not? This is what we test in a scalability testing. Here, So one thing is we do check the performance or the scalability of the application or the current capacity of the application. So first step would be the current load, my application should be able to handle the current expected load. But in future we should know how much hardware we should increase so that my application will continue to sustain or will be able to sustain the increased load as well. Currently 500 users. Once we increase beyond 800 users, we would need to add one more app server or some a CPU has to be added in the database server. We should come to know after the scalability test. For this we do perform capacity test and some scalability test also. Let's move on. So now we are going to break down these load tests, volume tests, price. We are going to talk about these tests. So first we will talk about the speed. There are two types of tests, load and volume. So first we talk about the load tests. Load tests are the tests that we perform for a normal user load or the expected user load. This will give us a picture or the performance of my application at the expected load or the real life user load. Here we need to understand the real life user load from the application perspective. That we were talking about the e-commerce site. Currently it expects to handle 500 users at the same time. So this is the expectations from the business, the 500 user load. So we need to understand the realistic user load or realistic expectation from the business or our client, and we target that load, we generate that load from using our tools with proper real life scenarios, and we come up with the performance of the application. The first target for any performance testing project is to meet this expected load. Our application should be able to handle this much load within expected response time, within the within expected failure percentages, the throughput, etc., whatever SLAs we have defined. So for these number of users, my application should be meet the expected SLAs. Next is volume test. Volume test is almost similar to a load test. Load test is about the number of users, while a volume test is about the number of records or volume of data. Some examples for volume test are batch processing. For example, a batch process takes around 15 minutes to process 10,000 records, but when we increase the number of records to 10 to 20,000, the time it takes to process those records increases to 1 hour, that is 4 times. So for 1 hour we expected the records should be processed should be 40,000, but it is processing only 20,000 records. That means there are some performance bottlenecks, and we need to do a root cause analysis and identify the performance bottlenecks here. Another example can be an MIS, generating a report or displaying a report. So here we need to give the trends about how much is my performance for like response time trends for 1000 records, 5000 records, etc. Let's talk about the next test, that is stability. Here we run an endurance test, or it is also called as soak test. Here these tests are the same load test scenarios, but the duration of the test is longer. It can be from 5 hours to up to 100 hours or more. It would depend on what is the schedule of our testing and when we are going live and when is the end date for our testing activity. So based on that, we should perform these tests for as long duration as possible. This would give us the correct statistics, and it would give the data related to the stability of the application. The next is the stress test. Stress test. Here we run the test, or we load the application to user loads that are much beyond the expected user load. For example, our application's expected load was 500. So here we may go up to 2000, 5000, 6000 users and try to break the application. What is the purpose of this stress test? We identify the application breakpoint. where my application will start breaking. My application will fail, my application may crash. So we need to identify those breakpoints. And we need to identify what happens when exceptionally high user load is put on the servers. Will my database crash? Will I lose my DB, like the data inserted into the database, or will my hard disk would crash? So we get to know what happens at exceptionally high user load, and we can plan for those kind of situations for exceptionally high kind of user load, so that we are able to maintain, or we are able to get the application back live as early as possible. If we already know, in case something happens on the live environment, the team would know what to do when this kind of situation occurs. But the expectations from the application that it should degrade gracefully even at higher loads. There should not be any crash, there should not be any bad errors that come to the user, some queries that start showing to the users. Those things should not happen. There should be proper error messages. For example, currently we are experiencing a high user load, so please try after some time. So it should not crash, it should share a proper error message so that the user do not feel bad and they will come back. This was stability test, endurance and stress test. Let's go to the last S, that is scalability. First one, or the only one, is the capacity test in scalability. A dictionary meaning of capacity is maximum amount that something can contain. For example, a 1 liter bottle can contain 1 liter of a liquid. So similarly, for a performance testing or an application perspective, the capacity tests are aimed to identify or the observe or capture the load handling capacity of the hardware, the current setup, or the server setup that on which we are running the load tests or the performance test. So we assess the load handling capacity of this hardware, and we capture the resource consumption statistics in such a way that we can calculate how much more hardware we would need when the user load will be increased. So we can come up with the projections for the hardware requirement. For example, let's say our server's hard disk specification is 400 input outputs. This is the hardware or the hard disk that is there on our server. And when we run the test, we identify that for performing 100 transactions per second, 200 IOPS are consumed. So that would imply 2 IOPS per transaction are required by our application. This is the normal usage of the hardware usage of our application. So based on these calculations, we know that if we want to sustain 400 transactions per second, we would need to have a hard disk with 800 IOPS, or we would need to have two hard disks with the same capacity, that is 400 each, so that we can sustain 800 IOPS, and that is 400 transactions per second. I hope I tried to make it as simple as possible, and I hope you people have understood. You can also ask your queries, and we will try to answer as much as possible, and we can have discussions later on as well. So let's do a quick recap for what we have understood in this session. We will also have a further sessions for more topics, etc. But right now the topic was to understand the types of performance tests which we have done, and let's do a quick recap for what we have understood in today's session. We spoke about performance engineering, that included performance testing, performance monitoring, and then performance tuning. Then we spoke about what is performance testing, that where we discussed about 3S: speed, stability, and scalability. Then we talk about what is speed. The speed would give us the answer to the question, how fast is my application? For this we do a load test, a volume test, or a spike test. Then we move to stability. Stability is about consistent performance. Is my application performance consistent with respect to time? The performance is not degrading with respect to time, then the application is stable. For this, we perform endurance or a soak test, or we perform stress tests. Scalability is the third S. This gives us the answer to the question that will my application performance match the expected user load in future or the increased user load for the future expectations or not. For this, we perform capacity, or also called as scalability tests. Thank you everyone for listening to us. Hopefully this session was benefits you, and we will be happy to answer your queries. Please ask your queries. Thank you.